Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, my fellow Chibits. Today, I'm here to bring all of you, once again, the weekly anime review of JoJo Part 4. Echoes had a transformation, so Stan's evolving. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing now. I mean, we saw an example of this at the end of Part 3 JoJo with, Jotaro and his Stan kind of evolving to the point to where he could actually use stop time. Now we see an example once again, not from our main JoJo of Part 4, but from a side support character, Koichi. And once again, I want us all to take note that it's just so surprising how this part of JoJo is not really focusing completely on Josuke, but focusing on Koichi. I've noticed that a lot. Majority of the episodes of JoJo Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, has been focusing on Koichi, which has me kind of questioning a lot of things with Part 4 JoJo, because it makes me wonder what is the real angle the mangaka is coming from when he wrote this part, because I'm so used to other parts of JoJo when it comes to, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, where, the main JoJo, or the JoJos in that, arc, is the main focus. Like, for instance, Jotaro, or, Joseph. They're, like, the main focus of those certain individual arcs. And seeing how Koichi, since it's so early on in Part 4, is getting so much focus, I'm just like, damn, and then his stand evolves before even maybe Josuke's stand evolves. And that throws me for a loop, because I'm like, damn, so of all characters that are getting a lot of spotlight, getting a lot of action scenes for themselves, a lot of characterization and development, along with showcasing new things that stands can do, like, for instance, evolving, Koichi, our secondary character, our side character, support character, is the one that's actually doing stuff like this, showcasing new stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is some weird stuff. I mean, I like it, there's no problem, I have no problem with this whatsoever, but it makes me question the overall main angle that the mangaka was coming from when he wrote Koichi, and then also Josuke, and made this, Part 4. So, talking about Koichi, I really respect how him as a side character, or I could actually kind of say he's almost the main character of Part 4, I really respect how much spotlight he's got, but also how he's able to conclude his fights without people helping him out. Because, honestly, when I walked into this episode and I started watching it, I honestly thought Josuke was gonna get Koichi out of the mess with Yukako. I really did. I thought he was gonna have to need some form of help, but clearly that was not the case, which, once again, I was proven wrong, because a couple episodes back, we also saw a little mini arc with Koichi having to defend his family from people trying to attack his family and him in general, and he was able to handle the entire situation on his own. And that's exactly what happens in this arc as well, which it just throws me for a loop, because I'm so used to, when I read a shonen or watch a shonen, I'm used to, like, the secondary side character always getting saved by the MC, and that's not the case when it comes to Part 4 JoJo, which really blows me away, because I expected Josuke to, arrive, save Koichi, get him out of the mess, and then, beat Yukako, and that's pretty much GG right there, but that didn't happen. Koichi settled everything on his own, and at the end of the day, he actually made Yukako love him even more, but she's not as crazy as she once was. So Koichi managed to make things right all by himself, without the need of the main character. That is something you do not see often. You really do not see that often at all in shonen. Now, I know JoJo has been around for a very long time. It's a very old shonen, and that's probably one of the main reasons why something like this is just, so awesome, but also it's just surprising how something like this is not done more often in today's age of manga and anime. It makes me kind of weirded out. Like, why don't they do more stuff like this? Why doesn't shonen writers make the side characters or the support characters get more spotlight and then showcase how they're able to handle situations on their own without needing the main character to constantly save their ass? It makes me happy to see this part and seeing how well it is written. Definitely in terms of writing, JoJo Part 4 is just something I'm truly enjoying. I think if it continues on this pace with the writing and how it's constantly doing these different arcs with Koichi, and then eventually it shifts over to other side characters and eventually Josuke, I feel like I'm going to grow more closer to these characters than I was with any other character from other parts of JoJo. And that's saying something, because I love a lot of characters from the individual parts of JoJo, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. But, I mean, so far, Koichi, as a character, he's definitely in, so far, the way he's moving up, I could see before Part 4 JoJo is done, like, said and done, I could see him being in my top 10 favorite characters of JoJo, maybe my top 5, depending on how his development continues on after this point, and I hope he doesn't eventually just get brushed off the side and that's it. I hope he actually continues to have some character development and characterization, but it still raises an interesting point. I mean, his stand did evolve, and it makes me wonder exactly what's the entirety of what happened to his stand, like what's all the new abilities he got, because we did get to see that Echoes now has the ability to make the sound create different things. For instance, if he does like whoosh, he does the sound whoosh and he puts it on the door and someone was to touch that sound, you would have it to where wind would come out of it. So it adds a different layer or dynamic to Koichi's ability, which could be rather broken in a way, because I mean, if you put certain sound effects like wind, so Koichi has a pretty broken ability right now, and I mean, I just wonder if we're going to get to see this from other stands in Part 4. Like, will Josuke's stand evolve in any way? Will we get to see him being able to maybe heal himself eventually? Who knows? Maybe, you know, the hand stand might actually finally be able to, you know, improve in a way and become even stronger. I have no idea. The main thing is, though, is that this episode brings a lot to the table, but also showcases that Koichi is not a character we should just brush under the rug and think he's a piece of shit. He is a character that can definitely hold his own in any situation, especially if the odds are stacked against him. And the situation he was in with Yukako was something that not any character, I think, in JoJo has ever experienced. It was something completely different. This yandere character was a prime example of how to write a very good yandere character. So with that, I'm done with talking about this episode of JoJo. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.